A phone rings on a birthday. She picks up, laughs, talks the way she always does. Nobody on that call knows it's the last time. Somewhere else, a rising star turns down the role that will change someone else's life instead of hers. And in a quiet Louisiana backyard, a stranger starts feeling less like an actress and more like family. None of that made it into the trailer. He didn't write Steel Magnolias for the reason Hollywood would have you believe. 15 facts nobody told you. Fact 15. A phone call on her birthday. A routine procedure hours later. She never woke up. Susan Harling Robinson had fought type 1 diabetes since she was 12, refusing for 2 decades to let it define her. Eventually, her kidneys began to fail. October 7, 1985. The surgery was minor. Just shunts to make dialysis possible. Nothing anyone was bracing for. Her brother left the call early. He had an audition. He never spoke to her again. Susan was 33. Fact 14. Julia Roberts almost never got this role. Meg Ryan was supposed to play Shelby. She turned it down to make a different movie instead. That movie was When Harry Met Sally. Winona Ryder and Laura Dern were also considered before Julia Roberts ever walked into the room.
Who gives this woman in marriage? Her mother and I do.
Every one of them was already a known name. Roberts wasn't. One yes from Meg Ryan, and Julia Roberts' entire career looks different. Instead, a 21-year-old nobody got the part that made her a star. Fact 13. When Susan needed a kidney, the whole family got tested. Only one answer came back the way her mother wanted. "The buck stops here," Margaret Harling told her son. She didn't wait to see if there was a better match. She gave her daughter the kidney herself, without hesitation. Years before, a 12-year-old Susan had insisted on being a majorette despite the diabetes. So Margaret sewed glucose tablets into the lining of her uniform, just in case. Now she was giving her daughter something she couldn't sew back in. Fact 12. Dolly Parton didn't travel light. She arrived with multiple trunks of wigs and her own personal makeup artist. That artist carried something unusual, a 3-ring binder full of drawings of Dolly's face.
You can't screw up her hair. You just tease it and make it look like a brown football hat.
Every scene got its own page. Foundation, blush, eyeshadow, written down in detail. The reason was simple. If anything needed reshooting months later, nothing could be allowed to look different. Other actresses fought the Louisiana heat with ice packs and short tempers. Dolly Parton fought it with a system. Continuity for Dolly Parton wasn't an accident. It was a filing system. Fact 11. Steel Magnolias cost $15 million to make. Nobody expected much more than that back. It opened in a limited release, then widened within days, and refused to leave the top 10 for 16 straight weeks.
Come on, what'll it be?
A cherry Coke.
It made almost $97 million worldwide in theaters alone. Home video pushed the total past $135 million. A modest Southern drama outperformed the year's biggest blockbusters, dollar for dollar. Hollywood didn't see it coming. Audiences did. Fact 10. Before Julia Roberts could play Susan, Robert had to believe she already was her. She kept showing up at his parents' house, uninvited but always welcome. His father grilled burgers in the backyard. She wrote poems on napkins and read them out loud after dinner. Dolly would drop by some evenings and play guitar on the sofa.
It's not any wonder with all this running around and wet nonsense.
And nobody thought to call it strange. Robert called the whole thing beyond surreal. He wasn't watching an actress disappear into a role. He was watching his sister come back. Until the day he looked at her across that yard and thought, without meaning to, "That's my sister." Fact 9. Some of the people trying to save Shelby on screen weren't acting at all. Herbert Ross hired Susan's real doctors and nurses to play her medical team, down to the smallest supporting roles. The same nurse who disconnected Susan's life support in 1985 did it again for the cameras, on a film set, with Julia Roberts lying in the bed where Susan once had. She didn't rehearse a scene that day. She relived one, twice. Fact 8. Robert Harling didn't just write Steel Magnolias in that town. He wrote his next movie there too, almost by accident. After shoot days, the cast gathered every night for games, food, and the usual survival bonding of a small town in a Louisiana summer. One evening, Harling asked each woman which role she wanted to play next. Sally Field's answer, "I always play noble women in crummy clothes. For once I'd like to play a bitch who gets to wear nice clothes."
Miss Truvy, I'm beyond help. Last week I discovered the early stages of crow's feet.
Harling went home and wrote Soap Dish. Field got exactly what she asked for, right down to the wardrobe. One card game, one complaint, one entire movie. Up to here, the stories that made Hollywood laugh. From here, what one summer in Louisiana cost and gave to everyone who stepped into it. Fact 7. Sally Field's cemetery breakdown was filmed once. Nobody called for a second take. One woman on set couldn't have survived a second take. Margaret Harling stood there that day, watching an actress play Shelby's mother saying goodbye to her daughter. Everyone on the production had told her not to come. It would be too much. She came anyway. "I wanted to see Julia get up and walk away," she told her son afterward, quietly. One mother, watching another mother perform the goodbye she never got to have herself. Fact 6. In the middle of shooting one of the heaviest films of her career, Dolly Parton still found time to perform for a stadium full of strangers. One night during production, still half in character, she walked onto the field at a Northwestern State University football game and sang 9 to 5 alongside the marching band. No cameras rolling, no press release the next morning.
Well, you must live close by. At least in walking distance, I didn't see a car.
Just a woman in full Truvy costume, giving a college crowd in Louisiana a halftime show nobody in those stands saw coming. By Monday morning, she was back on set, teasing hair and cracking jokes, like nothing had happened at all. Fact 5. Filming ran through a Louisiana summer. Several scenes required full winter wardrobe. Everyone else survived the heat by holding ice against their wrists between takes, constantly asking for water. Dolly Parton wore layers, stayed cheerful, and never once complained. "Dolly, we're dying and you never say a word," Julia Roberts finally told her. "Why don't you let loose?" Dolly's answer: when she was young and had nothing, she wanted to be rich and famous. Now she was both. She wasn't going to complain about a wig. Fact 4. A teenager once played Shelby in a high school production of Steel Magnolias. Years later, that choice saved 4 lives. Ali Chappelle had never thought about organ donation until she stood on that small stage and became Shelby for 2 hours. Adulthood came, and she decided to donate a kidney to her childhood pastor, a donation that turned out not to match and triggered a transplant chain instead. One mismatch, 4 operating rooms, 4 strangers who never met her.
I look at having this baby as the opportunity of a lifetime.
4 strangers received kidneys because one teenager once played a part in a school gymnasium. Harling still gets letters like this, including one from a man who donated a kidney to his own neighbor. That neighbor is celebrating his 35th wedding anniversary this year. Fact 3. 4 of the 6 lead actresses in this film have won an Academy Award. Sally Field, Shirley MacLaine, Olympia Dukakis, Julia Roberts, for a different film 11 years later. The 5th, Daryl Hannah, was never even nominated for this one, an oversight nobody in that beauty parlor would have accepted quietly. The 6th is Dolly Parton. Her first ever Oscar nomination didn't come until 2023.
I slammed it against the wall when I couldn't figure out where the batteries went.
34 years after this film. Not for acting, for a song. Dolly Parton is simply on a different timeline from the rest of Hollywood. Fact 2. Margaret Harling didn't stop being a Steel Magnolia when the cameras left Natchitoches. The film wrapped, the premieres ended, the interviews stopped. She spent the years afterward raising money and awareness for juvenile diabetes and kidney research. Quietly, consistently. Long after Steel Magnolias had left theaters and become something people just quoted at parties. She wasn't chasing a legacy for herself. She was still trying to help people her own daughter never got the chance to meet. And because of her, some of them are still here. Fact 1. Robert's father bought his wife a diamond necklace, shaped like a single tear. She never took it off, not once, for the rest of her life. He gave her one instruction with it, the only ending this story was ever going to need. This is the last tear.